Hi everybody, Kyla here with Houndful Hearts. Welcome to a pretty long video for me about prevention. This video is really geared for our puppy parents, but it's really good information, I think, for everybody. So if you're just kind of happening to see this video, would love if you provided any feedback, any questions. So what we're going to be talking today is about prevention techniques that I use on the puppies and my pack. We're going to be talking about essential oils. We're going to be talking about food supplementation. We're going to be talking about joint care. We're going to be talking about UTIs, and we're going to be talking about health insurance. So you see, I'm going to try to jam a lot of information in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about, because it's the one I'm most passionate about, and that's the essential oils. So I use essential oils as a prevention technique in my family. I basically, when I started, I bought the basic kit and I kept it in my house for a couple years because I didn't really know what to do with it. And then because I'm super frugal, I decided to open it up and to start using it. At the same time, I had just got done paying for another ear infection. Same products were given. It's like I seem to kind of have gotten into this like routine of somebody always having an ear infection. I go, they give me the ketoconazole, some drops, and I go about my way. And 3 months later, we start the cycle all over again. So I started to kind of like figure out like what can I do that's different, because this seems like insane. I'm doing the same thing, expecting a different result, and I wasn't getting it. So that's how I got into essential oils, and that's why I'm really excited to share this portion with you. So the first way that you're going to use essential oils, and probably the first essential oil you're going to use, is this. It's called On Guard. So On Guard is really great as an antimicrobial and an antiviral. Really important in this day and age, and really important for your puppies. So when puppies come home, they literally have no immune system, and they have to build that over time, right? So the day that they get home as little teeny tiny 1 pound babies, sorry you guys, puppies in the background, they are going to be using this On Guard. And we put it inside this 10-hour diffuser, and it goes 24 hours a day. The baby's sense of smell is very on point. And so to this big half-gallon size diffuser, I'm going to put about 4 drops, or about 6 drops, I should say. For this small one, I'm going to put about 2 to 3 drops because it's really tiny, only holds about a quarter to half a cup of water. So you see, it just depends. It's not an exact science, but it just depends on the size of diffuser, how many drops of essential oils you're going to put, okay? So again, the very first one that I want you to be diffusing as a prevention technique for your puppies is On Guard. This should pretty much be going 18 hours a day once puppy comes home, okay? So the next way to use your essential oils as a prevention, and again, you'll see all of these things I've kind of exchanged, like my medicine cabinet, the synthetic products for real products, natural products. So the next one is I have this antihistamine roller bottle. And what is a roller bottle? Such a weird name, right? Basically, it has this roller on it, and it's used kind of like a perfume bottle. So it glides on. You put it at the bottom of puppy's feet, okay? Or in puppy's ears. And I'll show you with one of the puppies in just a second. But basically what you're going to do, and what I've done here, is I have taken these 3 oils, mixed them together in this with coconut oil, and created my own liquid Benadryl, basically, antihistamine. Why would I do that? Well, because I don't want to give my puppies Benadryl if they don't need it. I want to save that for a last line of defense. So an example of when I would use this is, say that they had the sneezes because they had some allergies. Thank you. We have a behind the window. So, hold on, we got technical difficulties. So here's an example of how we would use this roller bottle with this little cutie patootie. So see, we have the paws, just going to go on the paws and get eaten. And the cool thing about Bassett's, going to go in the ears, because it's kind of like a natural diffuser for them, right? They're going to smell it, because the whole point of the Bassett ears is to hang right in front of the nose so that they can smell any of the prey. And so it actually works really well. So when you're putting it on the puppy feet, you really want to put it like in between the toes, or really touch that skin. It's really easy to get in there and do it. They don't love it because they don't love scent, but it's just like you and I don't love lavender, but it does its job. So that's how you're going to use a roller bottle. Okay. So and this recipe is in my YouTube already, and so you can access that. But one of the ways I've exchanged prevention in my medicine cabinet is I've made my own antihistamine blend. Why would I give antihistamines? They have allergies. Dogs have the sniffles and sneezes. The other thing is that we recommend, or the vets really recommend, that you give a Benadryl to your puppy before you give vaccination. So when you call to get your vaccine appointment, they're going to say, Mrs. or Mr. whoever, please give your dog a Benadryl about 20 minutes prior to coming into the vet office. They know, as a vet practice, that dogs get sick and dogs die from vaccination. It's not their fault. It's just the way that things work. So the dose that you're going to give a teeny tiny puppy and the dose that you give a big giant 15-year-old Great Dane is the same quantity, right? So sometimes in some puppies, they have an overflooding of their immune system with this vaccination, and they get sick and they die. And so that's why you give the antihistamine. So before I do vaccines, I give all of my puppies this roller bottle blend about 15-20 minutes before I actually give their injections, and I have not had any problems. That being said, I also use Western medicine, and I keep Benadryl with me. If my kids get stung by a bee outside and I need something now, an emergent and like that next level, I have children's liquid Benadryl in my medicine cabinet for an emergency when I need it. It's just best to have both, okay? So one more example is this Digest Zen. And you'll see I have like this weird little topper on top of it. And that is because you can plunge some of it up and I drop it right in their mouth. You can see the drops going through. Either drop it in my own mouth if I have a tummy ache, or the puppies. So specifically with the puppies, I'll give them one drop in their mouth, or I'll rub some on their belly. They sometimes get kind of gas from when they're trying new foods, or they're just got upset stomach because they're chewing on leaves outside. So I've basically traded in my digestion for things like Pepcid, Prilosec, Pepto-Bismol, any kind of Tums or anything like that. So I just haven't reinvented the wheel. I've just replaced it with something that's a little bit more natural and their body knows what to do with. It doesn't have so many side effects. Okay, any questions about the essential oils? I hope there are, and I hope you'll send them to me because I really like to engage people in education with this. All right, we're going to move on to the next piece. I'm going to move over. And that's going to be about this food supplement, NuVet. Love, love NuVet. And I'm going to tell you why. Just want to give you an up-close look at the ingredients. There is a bunch of ingredients on my website, a bunch of paperwork that you can look at, and it's got evidence, it's got kind of like their grading and everything. It's just kind of another good resource. Let me just get to the down and dirty on why I use this, because I do the best I can with the food that I feed, which is Purina Pro Plan, and I also give them toppers, like I'll do salmon or vegetables or ground beef. But I know that food has a missing link, right? And that they need something to support their vitamins and nutrients that they're not getting from their food. So I give them NuVet, and it's just a whole food supplement. It is cold pressed. It's human grade, which means it passes all the human grade in a facility that passes everything through the FDA. Really, really important. So it's clean, right? You know that there's quantity and substance inside, and you're not just giving your dog some more chicken flavored filler. Again, really, really important. Okay. So I it comes in tablets and it comes in this powder form. I use the powder form not just for the puppies, but for my big kids. They will eat it like a cookie, but this way I make sure that they get it all. And I guess I'm just kind of lazy. It's just easier for me, not gonna lie. I try to do things that make my life easier. Okay, so again, this is very important. As part of the 2-year health guarantee for one of our puppies, you have to sign up for NuVet and be using it. They help provide a guarantee as well because that's how much they stand behind their own product. Okay. Again, this is NuVet, the same company, and this is really the only 2 things that I order through them. They also have things like shampoo and conditioner and skin stuff, but I don't find that I really need that when I use the essential oils. I'm just doing a quick view here of the ingredient list for a second. So basically this is for joints. We know that Basset Hounds low to the ground, long back, really prone to joint disease because they have these hard, dense bodies on these short little legs. So I start my kids when they're a little bit older on this, like my 15-year-old Bailey, she gets this daily. I can honestly tell a difference, like if I get lazy or like it's a particularly busy week and I forget for a couple days, I notice, especially when it's raining, that she hurts a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, I need to get back on that NuVet. I'm fallible and I make mistakes. And truly, you can notice a difference in about a week, okay? So the kids, like at nighttime with the NuVet joint, I get the wafer so that I can tell a difference. And at nighttime, I give this to everybody as their nighttime treat. Don't have to put any like peanut butter on it or anything. They just think of it as a cookie and they take it really well. Again, NuVet joint. I can appreciate and understand that both of them together might be expensive. So when puppy comes, I would do this. And then as they mature, I would switch to this. If you can only afford one, I would switch to this one when they're about 2. And definitely any older dogs that you have in your home should be on this. You will see a major, major difference, I promise. Okay, it's a lot of information. Are you still with me? Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is UTIs. And I just want to say before I go on about the UTIs, I've got all of this information because every time I have a litter, something new comes up that I learn, right? There's a problem, there's a challenge that I have to figure out. And so all of this has come from a challenge that Mom and I have accepted and figured out how to fix, okay? And so I had a puppy parent that was having frequent UTIs, and this is going on until about 1.5 years. She's like, Kyle, I've done everything. I don't understand. She had all the tests, the scopes, all of the things. She's like, I just don't understand. And so I did some research, and I researched and found that actually most puppies go home with a UTI, which I was like, really, I've never noticed any of my puppies have any of the issues. But what they were saying is that just because puppies are so low to the ground, and they're, especially the females, their lady parts kind of touch the ground, get all that bacteria, and their urethra is about this long. So there's not a long way for that bacteria to travel up into the bladder, okay? So I found out and I learned about this after doing some research. I ordered this from Revival. It's an online company. You don't need like a code or anything like that. Don't get paid like as a sponsor or anything for this stuff. It's just stuff I have found that works, okay? And so you sprinkle this on your lady's food every day. You can see it's kind of got these granules and crystals inside. And again, it tastes like chicken. So it's like I have my supplements in the morning, just adding to their food and their cheese or whatever they're getting in the morning, and just stir it up with a little bit of hot water. And don't think like they're getting medicine. It just tastes really well. It tastes good for them. So she tried this after she started her dog on this, had no more UTIs. Now, for the most part, I keep my ladies on this, but that's not to say that boys can't get UTIs. It's a little bit more difficult for them to get UTIs because they have a longer urethra, but that's more when they get to be adults. When they're puppies, they're highly prone to UTIs because they still have a short urethra and they're still peeing, and still like their little man pieces get in the urine and it comes back up into the urethra. So when they're puppies, the boys, yes, should have this, and it will really help. Once they mature, they're like 1 or 2 and their boy parts aren't touching the ground, then it's really not an issue anymore. when the ladies have matured, their little button in the back, their uvula pops out, which is why we ask you don't spay them for the first couple of cycles. And that is also shown to help prevent UTIs. So instead of hidden up inside of them, they're where they go to the bathroom kind of pokes out a little bit, so that it just has the ability to not hold so much bacteria up inside their lady parts. I don't know, maybe I should be using the right words like vagina and vulva, but my dogs, I can't say that. So we're going to say lady parts. All right. So we talked about all the things. Okay. It was a lot. I expect questions. This should be a dialogue of question and answer. And so that is these pieces. The last thing that I want to talk to you about before I overwhelm you is about insurance. I've kind of like vacillated back and forth between taking out insurance on every single puppy myself, which I can't afford, forcing my puppy parents to keep insurance for a minimum of a couple years. I haven't done either. I don't know what the right thing to do is, except for to plead with you to please take out insurance on your dog. You literally do not know what's going to happen. Most of the time, everything's great. I have 2 really good examples of when things were not so great. And so out of probably 200 dogs, puppies that have gone home from my house, there's been 2 problems. But the first problem for George Henry cost $50,000, and the second one from Sully is going to cost about $25,000. And so it's better to have insurance when you don't know. Now, I get things are expensive, and that's why I'm very cautious in what I reach out to you to have as part of a responsible dog owner. This I do. The essential oils, absolutely. Expensive in the front, going to save you money on the back end. Insurance is the third, the trifecta that I really, really, really encourage you to get. There is so many different companies out there that are offering health insurance right now. I don't even know all of them. Again, I'm not a sponsor for any of them. I do know personally I've tried AKC and Trupanion, and I've really been happy with both of them for different reasons. So AKC is a yearly thing. They cover, the basics, right? Spay, neuter, a surgery, blood work, teeth cleaning, that kind of stuff. Trupanion covers what's called injury and illness. So basically, if you think about Trupanion like a high deductible plan, and it's a lifetime plan. So let's say you have an ear infection because you're not using your essential oils. So you have an ear infection, AKC, they're going to pay like a percentage every time for the year that you go in to get treated for an ear infection. Trupanion is going to pay, after your deductible of $700, they're going to pay the lifetime 100% after that. 90%, I'm sorry, thanks, Mom. 90% after that. If you carry this insurance through the dog's entire life, for 20 years, they'll pay for the ear infection once you've met the deductible for that injury. Now, dog may eat a rock. There's the second injury, not covered like the first one. You pay the deductible. As soon as you've met that deductible, then they pay lifetime, again, 90% for the effects of that eating the rock. Okay? Not every time. If the dog eats 3 rocks, they're going to cover it over the lifespan once you pay that initial deductible on the injury. Okay? You just have to pick what's best for your family. I would caution you on a couple things and things to think about and ask. So one lady that has insurance, she has it through her vet, and she's like, this is great. It covers all of our daily stuff, going in for teeth cleaning and blood work and well puppy check and all of the things. But guess what? This dog has something that is outside what this vet can do. So guess what? She's got to go to a specialist, and that vet doesn't cover the specialist. They didn't cover the CT scan, the x-ray, or now the $15,000 surgery the dog's going to require. And she's kicking herself. She's like, I wish I would have listened to you and bought insurance because this stuff would have been covered. I can tell you all the horror stories, and you're really just taking a gamble. And this is where my question comes in, like, should I be taking out health insurance on all dogs? Because what happens if you get something that happens to your dog and you're like, I don't have the $50,000 it's going to take to get the dog well, you're going to give it back to me. And then I'm going to have to figure out how to come up with that. And I have to tell you, I'd be strapped to figure out how that's going to, how that would work. So that's kind of like one of the things I vacillate on, and why I really, really plead with you to get health insurance for your dog. You just never know what's going to happen. And as long as you have that spare tire, so to say, you're not going to need it, right? Life, kind of throws you lemons. It's when you don't have a backup plan that these things happen, right? So if I would research the heck out of your area, talk to your vet and ask them, like, what insurances have they worked with that they've been successful with? I know Costco's got a new plan. There is a plethora of them out there. Pick one, choose one, ask really good questions like, do they cover congenital situations? That's really important, right? We genetic test, so we know we can take out the 95% of things that could happen. But the anomalies, which are the things that cost a lot of money, we're not going to be able to test for. And that's really why you want to have the insurance to cover those things that are just out of this world that happen. Okay. That was 22 minutes of a lot of information. I hope this was helpful. I hope that it raised some questions in your mind. I hope that it helped you understand why we ask you to do a couple of extra things beyond just picking up the puppy. It's really important for us. We want them to be well, and we know that you're spending a lot of money to purchase this kid to come into your house, and we just want to really set you up for success for the longevity of your dog. Okay? All right. Any questions, you can type them to me. Blessings.